Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Valsa Williams and with me is Renuka with the evening news. The headlines. President Ramnath Kovind holds delegation-level talks with his Bangladeshi counterpart Mohammad Abdul Hamid in Dhaka, also to take part in the 50th Victory Day celebrations of Bangladesh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address National Conclave on Natural Farming tomorrow at Anand, Gujarat via video conferencing. Cabinet approves implementation of Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana for 2021 to 26. Cabinet takes historic decision to develop complete ecosystem of semiconductor. Country reaches $75 billion in electronic manufacturing sector in last 7 years, says Electronics and IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. Centre sets up price stabilization fund to tackle price volatility of agro commodities such as onion, potato and pulses to protect interests of consumers. Over 134 crore 61 lakh vaccine doses administered so far under nationwide vaccination drive. Recovery rate stands at 98.38%. 9 people killed and several others injured in a tragic bus accident in West Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. Prime Minister announces ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees each for the next of kin of deceased. In hockey, defending champions in Tokyo Olympics, bronze medalist India thrash hosts Bangladesh 9-0 in Asian Champions Trophy in Dhaka. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the new corona variant is a cause for concern. In this situation, we appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and help others get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact National Helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. President Ramnath Kovind held delegation-level talks with his Bangladeshi counterpart Mohammad Abdul Hamid at his official residence, Bongo Bhavan, this evening. President Kovind was given a reception in his honour at the Bongo Bhavan by President Mohammad Abdul Hamid of Bangladesh. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was also present at the reception banquet. More from our correspondent.
President Ramnath Kovind was given a reception in his honor at the Bongo Bhavan by President Mohammad Abdul Hamid. A cultural program was also organized for the visiting dignitary. President Kovind presented a small-scale model of MiG-21 used in 1971. President Kovind and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina discussed several issues of mutual interest and bilateral cooperation between the two countries. The two leaders recalled the spirit of 1971 Liberation War and expressed satisfaction at the joint celebration of Maitri Divas, marking the recognition granted by India to Bangladesh on 6 December 1971. President Ramnath Kovind arrived in Bangladesh for his 3-day state visit in the morning today. He was welcomed at the airport by the President of Bangladesh. President Kovind proceeded to the National Martyrs Memorial at Sawa from the airport itself. He planted a sapling and signed the visitors' book at the memorial in Sawa. The President visited the Bangabandhu Memorial Museum to pay his respects to Bangladesh Father of Nation Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Tomorrow, President Kovind will participate in the celebration of the Golden Jubilee of the independence of Bangladesh and the birth centenary year of Bangabandhu as the guest of honor, with Sanjeev Kumar, Rajesh Jha in Dhaka for AIR News.
The Indian Armed Forces secured a decisive victory over Pakistan which resulted in the liberation of Bangladesh in 1971. It was the largest military surrender after the Second World War. The Indian Armed Forces, along with Mukti Bahini, liberated Bangladesh in a span of just 13 days. To commemorate the glorious victory of 1971, the year 2021 was marked as Swarnim Vijay Varsh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had lit the victory flame to mark the beginning of Swarnim Vijay Varsh celebrations. Various events were organized by the Indian Army at many locations in West Bengal and all northeast states throughout the year. A Swarnim Vijay Gatha is being organized at Victoria Memorial in Kolkata tomorrow, which would also mark the culmination of celebrations of Swarnim Vijay Varsh. The News Services Division of All India Radio will broadcast a special program commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Indian victory over Pakistan in 1971 and liberation of Bangladesh. This special program can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will take part in the National Conclave on Natural Farming tomorrow in Anand, Gujarat via video conferencing. In a tweet, the Prime Minister urged those associated with agriculture and the world of agro-based startups to join this conclave. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has said that, as per the resolve of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India is becoming self-reliant in defence-related fields. He said, "Today our army is standing with full capability on every front." Speaking on the occasion of laying the foundation stone of Sainya Dham in Gunial village of Dehradun today, Mr. Singh said, "India is emerging as a strong and powerful country in the world." Raksha Mantri said the problem of one rank, one pension of our ex-servicemen was solved by the Prime Minister. He said every effort has been made by the government for the solution of problems of the soldiers and their families. Continuous efforts have been made by the government to solve problems of ex-servicemen also, added Mr. Raksha Mantri. Between India and Nepal, there is an unbreakable relationship, he said. Meanwhile, Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami said late CDS General Bipin Rawat had some dreams about the state, which the state government is ready to fulfill. The Chief Minister said, "Today, under the leadership of the Prime Minister and the Raksha Mantri, the honour of the country's arm has increased."
The Cabinet has approved implementation of Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana for 2021-26. The scheme will benefit about 22 lakh farmers, including 2.5 lakh scheduled caste and 2 lakh scheduled tribe farmers. Speaking to reporters, Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur said an outlay of over 93,000 crore rupees will be spent. Terming the decision as historic, the minister said out of 93,000 crore rupees, 37,454 crore rupees will be central assistance to states.
और आज का जो निर्णय है वो प्रधानमंत्री कृषि सिंचाई योजना को 2021-22 से लेकर 25-26 तक चालू रखने का निर्णय किया गया है और इसके ऊपर कुल मिलाकर 93,000 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा खर्च आएगा। ये अपने आप में ऐतिहासिक निर्णय है।
Briefing the media, Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat said the central funding of 90% of water component for two national projects has been provisioned. These are Renukaji Dam project in Himachal Pradesh and Lakhwat multipurpose project in Uttarakhand. Accelerated irrigation benefit program Har Khet Ko Pani and watershed development components have been approved for continuation during 2021-26.
इस 93,000 करोड़ की परियोजना में सेंट्रल असिस्टेंस और साथ ही साथ में स्टेट्स के द्वारा जो इसमें निवेश होगा वो दोनों सम्मिलित हैं और मैं ये मानता हूं कि इसके कारण से देश के लगभग 22 लाख किसानों के जीवन में परिवर्तन आएगा। ये दो परियोजनाएं लखवार और रेणुका जी के माध्यम से और शेष इस प्रोजेक्ट में और भी ज्यादा जो नए प्रोजेक्ट उसमें जुड़ेंगे उसके कारण से भी लाखों किसानों के जीवन में परिवर्तन आएगा, देश का उत्पादन बढ़ेगा और किसान की आमदनी बढ़ाने में हमको सफलता मिलेगी।
The Cabinet has approved a program for development of semiconductors and display manufacturing ecosystem in the country. Briefing reporters after the Cabinet meeting in New Delhi today, Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur said 76,000 crore rupees will be spent on this project in the next 6 years. He said this will strengthen India's journey towards Atmanirbhar Bharat.
सेमीकंडक्टर और डिस्प्ले मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के इकोसिस्टम को यहां स्थापित करने के लिए 76,000 करोड़ रुपए की योजना लाई गई है। इसके माध्यम से अगले 6 वर्षों में भारत में लगभग 1,67,000 करोड़ रुपए की डायरेक्ट निवेश अनुमानित है और जैसा आदरणीय अश्विनी जी ने कहा कि लगभग 1,33,000 से ज्यादा लोगों को रोजगार की संभावनाएं होंगी और इससे हमारा जो कुल प्रोडक्शन अगर देखा जाए चिप्स का हो, सेमीकंडक्टर वेफर्स का हो या डिस्प्ले सेल का हो, ये 9.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए का होगा और इसमें से 5,14,000 करोड़ से ज्यादा का एक्सपोर्ट अनुमानित है कि इसके माध्यम से होगा।
Speaking on the occasion, Electronics and IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said in the last 7 years the country has reached $75 billion in the electronic manufacturing sector. He added that in the next 6 years it will reach up to $300 billion. Mr. Vaishnav said today the cabinet has taken a historic decision to develop a complete ecosystem of semiconductor.
अगर हम इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की लास्ट 7 इयर्स की जर्नी देखें, छोटी सी संख्या थी जब माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने देश के सामने संकल्प रखा कि हम आत्मनिर्भर होएंगे, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में विश्व में एक बड़ा स्थान ग्रहण करेंगे। तब हमारे विपक्षी साथियों ने कई तरह की बातें की, कई तरह के शब्द इस्तेमाल किए, लेकिन उस संकल्प पे अडिग तौर पे चलते रहे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, और 7 साल में आज हम $75 बिलियन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पे पहुंच चुके हैं। जिस रफ्तार से हम चल रहे हैं, अगले 6 साल में ये संख्या $300 बिलियन यानी रफली 20 लाख करोड़ के आसपास हमारी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पहुंचेगी।
Our correspondent reports the decision will have multiplier effects across different sectors, and this will contribute significantly to achieve a $1 trillion digital economy and $5 trillion GDP by 2025.
The Cabinet has approved an incentive scheme for promotion of RuPay debit cards and low-value Bhim UPI transactions. Briefing media, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said banks will be incentivized for low-value Bhim UPI transactions by way of paying percentage of value of transactions.
जो मर्चेंट डिस्काउंट रेट होती है, MDR में पर्सन टू मर्चेंट वाला जो पेमेंट वाला हिस्सा होता है, उसको रुपे डेबिट कार्ड के लिए और यूपीआई पेमेंट के लिए भारत सरकार उसको रिम्बर्स करेगी। यानी आगामी 1 वर्ष में 1300 करोड़ रुपए का भारत सरकार इन्वेस्ट करेगी, जिससे ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग डिजिटल पेमेंट्स की तरफ बढ़े।
The Cabinet has approved the Treaty on Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters between India and Poland. The treaty will enhance capability and effectiveness of both the countries in investigation and prosecution of crimes, including crimes related to terrorism, through mutual legal assistance.
The Centre has set up the Price Stabilization Fund to tackle price volatility of agro-commodities such as onion, potato and pulses to protect the interests of consumers. This was stated by Minister of State for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Ashwini Kumar Chaubey, in a written reply in the Lok Sabha today. The minister said buffer stocks of pulses and onion are maintained under Price Stabilization Fund to moderate the prices. He said these efforts deter speculative and hoarding activities. The government said there is no proposal to restart the use of Chinese applications in the country, which had been banned earlier. In a written reply in the Lok Sabha today, Electronics and Information Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said there are many internet browsers already available, including open source browsers. He said broader consensus is required with states for better regulation of cyber crimes.
The Supreme Court has dismissed a plea of Maharashtra government seeking direction to the centre to disclose the socio-economic and caste census SECC 2011 raw caste data of the other backward classes OBC after the centre submitted that the data collected is flawed and unusable. A bench of Justices A.M. Khanvilkar and C.T. Ravikumar today dismissed the petition of Maharashtra government after taking note of the stand of the central government that the SECC 2011 was not accurate and fraught with mistakes. To this, the Apex Court said it cannot issue a direction to the centre to share the raw caste data of SECC 2011 with Maharashtra. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase Hallmark gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago.
The centre today reviewed commissioning, installation and functional status of oxygen supply equipments supplied by to the states and UTs. Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said medical oxygen is an essential public health commodity and its uninterrupted supply in sufficient quantity is of critical importance to tackle the pandemic. The Health Secretary held a meeting with states and UTs to review the status and their preparedness Regarding medical oxygen devices and systems through video conference, he said the centre has assisted them through availability of equipment, technical and financial support for PSA plants, oxygen concentrators, ventilators, oxygen cylinders, liquid medical oxygen plants and medical gas pipeline systems. He urged the states to review and monitor the status of these on a daily basis to ensure that the gap between the equipments and systems delivered to the districts and installed at the healthcare facilities is reduced to zero. Ministry of Ayush has issued fresh recommendations for holistic health and well-being. In a statement, the ministry said the recommendations for the public on holistic health and well-being focus on preventive measures and care during COVID-19 and long COVID-19. General preventive measures, methods for promoting systemic immunity, ways to promote local mucosal immunity along with other preventive courses such as fumigation have been recommended by the ministry. Recommendations for mental health and measures to increase mental strength are also part of the document.
Over 134 crore 61 lakh doses of COVID vaccine have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 68 lakh vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The ministry said 8,168 COVID patients recovered during the last 24 hours and the national recovery rate stands at 98.38%.
There's an update. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed 135 crore landmark milestone today. More than 53 lakh vaccine doses have been administered till 7 p.m. today.
Ministry of Women and Child Development is organizing a national conference on tuberculosis in New Delhi tomorrow. The conference aims at discussing various policy interventions and intends to garner the support of parliamentarians to own and support the implementation of gender-sensitive policies at the ground level. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will be the chief guest at the national conference. Minister of Women and Child Development Smriti Zubin Irani and Minister of Health and Family Welfare Mansukh Mandavia will also grace the event and deliberate upon various issues with the participants to ensure and inculcate gender-responsive TB care.
Here is a review of proceedings in Parliament today. First from the Rajya Sabha. Writer is Sanjeev Chopra of PTI. Rajya Sabha witnessed disruptions in the scheduled business over the issue of suspension of 12 opposition members when the House met for the day. The opposition members continued to disrupt the proceedings over the issue of suspension of 12 MPs. Some questions were taken up during the question hour amid the continued din. The question hour continued amid the slogan shouting. However, the 0 hour could not be taken up as the opposition members started protesting right after the laying of papers. With several opposition members speaking simultaneously and some of them standing, the chairman, M. Venkaiah Naidu, adjourned the proceedings for about 55 minutes till 12 noon. As soon as the upper house reassembled at 12 noon, the opposition members were up on their feet to raise a point of order on the issue of suspension of the MPs. The deputy chairman tried to restore order in the House and requested the protesting members to allow the question hour to go on. Congress leader Anand Sharma raised a point of order under Rule 2562 and said the suspension of a member can be terminated if any member moves a motion in this regard in the upper house. Deputy Chairman Harivansh said Mr. Sharma has issued a notice to the Chairman with his intention to move a motion for the termination of the suspension of the 12 MPs. The Deputy Chairman said he has now been informed by the Chairman that the notice given by Anand Sharma is not accompanied by the motion which he intends to move in the House. He added that the chairman has said such a notice is inadmissible. As the notice was not admitted, the opposition members trooped into the well and began raising slogans. Leader of opposition Mallikarjun Kharge sought to raise the issue but was not allowed by the chair. However, the protesting members were persistent in their demand for a revocation of the suspension of the 12 MPs and the chair was forced to adjourn the House till 2 p.m. At 2 p.m. when the House met again, the House was adjourned briefly for the third time after opposition members created uproar over the suspensions. The upper house also saw the start of a short-duration discussion on the situation arising out of new Omicron variant of COVID-19 virus, even as opposition members continued with their protests in the well of the House. Deputy Chairman Harivansh asked Sushmita Deb of the Trinamool Congress TMC to initiate the discussion. However, she too, along with protesting MPs, sought to raise the issue of suspensions. Then the Deputy Chairman called out the name of another member, Nadimul Haq, to initiate the important discussion. The opposition members then raised objections to the absence of Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia in the House. The members sitting on the Treasury benches said the Minister of State for Health was present to hear the opposition leaders. As the House found not in order, the Chair then adjourned it for 15 minutes. When the House met again, Sushmita Deb of TMC raised the issue of suspensions and said it is totally undemocratic and illegal and sought its revocation. Leader of the House, Ayush said, "We respect the sentiment of members, but she has also seen the way lady marshals were insulted and attacked in this House." He said after attacking and strangulating the marshals, the members involved would have apologized. Initiating the discussion on Omicron variant of COVID-19, G.K. Vasan, TMC-M, congratulated the government and the Prime Minister for vaccinating people. He called for combined efforts of the opposition and government to help and find a solution to the emergency situation in the country. He also said all decisions on Omicron should be based on scientific management and expert advice. He also called for booster doses. A. Navneeta Krishnan of AIADMK said the Prime Minister is waging an all-out war to protect India against the pandemic with robust healthcare system in place. Ramnath Thakur of BJP also lauded the government's efforts in checking the spread of the new variant and called for COVID-appropriate behavior. Syed Zafar Islam of BJP in his maiden speech said Omicron is a serious issue and is spreading across the globe.
And now review of proceedings in Lok Sabha. Writer is Kumar Rakesh of PTI. Today the Parliament witnessed uproarious scenes in both the houses. While the issue of suspension of 12 opposition members continued to disrupt the Rajya Sabha, the demand for removal of Union Minister Ajay Mishra following the SIT report on Lakhimpur Kheri stalled the proceedings in the Lok Sabha. While several opposition members were in the well, TMC MPs were at their seats. The members did not yield to repeated pleas of the Speaker that the issue can be raised after the question hour. However, vociferous protests continued. The Speaker said he had always striven to conduct the question hour so that the question tradition continues and important questions are taken up. However, he told the protesting members that they have not come to the House to raise slogans, but for discussions. Reminding the COVID-appropriate behaviour, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi urged the members protesting in the well of the House to wear masks, saying that COVID is not over and standing near the House officials without wearing masks put everyone at risk. The minister also requested the Speaker to give directions to the protesting members in this regard. However, amid the din caused by opposition members, including Congress, DMK and Left, 4 questions and supplementaries were taken up till 11:30 a.m. before the Speaker Om Birla decided to adjourn the proceedings till 2 p.m. The lower house reassembled again at 2 p.m. However, the scenes were no different in the House. After going through the laying of papers on the table of the House, Rajendra Agrawal, who was in the chair, urged the protesting members to go back to their seats and participate in a discussion on price rise scheduled at that time. The chair later adjourned the House for the day as the opposition refused to relent. That's all in Parliament Review.
Moving on, Durga Puja in Kolkata has just been inscribed on the Intangible Heritage List by Unesco. In an important announcement, the Intergovernmental Committee of UNESCO's 2003 Convention on Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage has inscribed Durga Puja in Kolkata on the representative list of Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity during its 16th session being held at Paris, France. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said in a tweet that it is a matter of great pride and joy for every Indian. He said Durga Puja highlights the best of Indian traditions and ethos, and Kolkata's Durga Puja is an experience everyone must have. Chief Ministers of BJP-ruled states today visited the holy city of Ayodhya and paid obeisance to the Ramlalla at Sri Ram Janmabhoomi. BJP National President J.P. Nadda accompanied them. After darshan of Ramlalla, Mr. Nadda said BJP is inspired by nationalism and Kashi, Mathura and Ayodhya are centres of belief for not just the party but also for the crores of Hindus of the country.
In Manipur, an improvised explosive device blasted in front of a pharmacy located at Khurei of Imphal East district early this morning. The police investigating the incident said there was no human casualty and the structure of the pharmacy has been damaged due to the impact of the blast. No one has been arrested so far in connection to the incident. In Andhra Pradesh, at least 9 people, including the driver, were killed and several others injured in a major bus accident in West Godavari district this afternoon. There were 6 women among those killed. According to the police, the bus carrying 47 passengers overturned and plunged into the Jallarevagu rivulet. At least 26 people were seriously injured in the accident. The injured have been shifted to the hospital. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed sadness at the loss of lives in the accident. In his message, Mr. Modi said his thoughts are with the bereaved families in this hour of grief. The Prime Minister announced an ex-gratia of 2 lakh rupees each for the next of kin of those who lost their lives. AP Governor Biswa Bhushan Harichandan and Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy have expressed anguish over the bus mishap. The AP state government has announced an ex-gratia payment of 5 lakh rupee each to the kin of the deceased. West Godavari District Collector Kartikeya Mishra and SP Rahul Dev Sharma are looking after the rescue operation.
Indian Test skipper Virat Kohli today clarified that he would be available for the 3-match ODI cricket series and had never asked for a break, contrary to media reports. Addressing media virtually, Kohli also said he came to know of Rohit Sharma replacing him as ODI captain just 1.5 hours before the Test series squad for South Africa was announced. He said he was contacted 1.5 hours before selection for Tests. Kohli said the chief selector discussed the Test squad with him. India's upcoming South Africa tour is scheduled to begin from the 26th of December. In hockey, defending champions in Tokyo Olympics bronze medalist India today thrashed hosts Bangladesh 9-0 in the Asian Champions Trophy men's hockey tournament in Dhaka. Playing their first tournament with some new players after the historic Tokyo Olympics campaign, the Manpreet Singh-led India had earlier drawn 2-2 against Korea in their tournament opener on Tuesday. India will next play arch rivals Pakistan in the round-robin stage on Friday. In badminton, HS Pranoy extended his dream run with another impressive victory against Darren Liu of Malaysia, 21-7, 21-17, in the second round of the BWF World Championships in Huelva, Spain today. Women's doubles pair of Ashwini Ponnappa and Sikki Reddy shocked Chinese 14 seeds Liu Xuan and Xia Yuting 21-11, 9-21, 21-13 to join the rest of the Indian squad in the pre-quarterfinals. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. President Ramnath Kovind holds delegation-level talks with his Bangladeshi counterpart Mohammad Abdul Hamid in Dhaka, also to take part in the 50th Victory Day celebrations of Bangladesh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address National Conclave on Natural Farming tomorrow at Anand, Gujarat via video conferencing. Cabinet approves implementation of Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana for 2021-26. Cabinet takes historic decision to develop complete ecosystem of semiconductor. Country reaches $75 billion in electronic manufacturing sector in last 7 years, says Electronics and IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. Centre sets up price stabilization fund to tackle price volatility of agro commodities such as onion, potato and pulses to protect interests of consumers. Over 135 crore vaccine doses administered so far under nationwide vaccination drive, recovery rate at 98.38%. 9 people killed and several others injured in tragic bus accident in West Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. Prime Minister announces ex-gratia of 2 lakh rupees each for the next of kin of deceased. In hockey, defending champions in Tokyo Olympics bronze medalist India thrash hosts Bangladesh 9-0 in Asian Champions Trophy in Dhaka. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.
The Navy gives me adventure in every venture.
The Navy gives me the chance to discover capabilities I never knew I had.
The Navy gives me a package complete with the country's respect and recognition.
The Navy gives you more. Indian Navy, an ocean of opportunities. www.joinindiannavy.gov.in